But he is Josh Funder, who's the founder of Household Capital. So
What is Household Capital about?
I think Josh has to say hello and
Hello,
tell us.
Josh. Welcome to Your Life Choices.
I don't know where to go with an
Retirement.
introduction like that. Between Hugh Grant and the man love you showed for me, it's really hard to get started. But I can tell you all about Household Capital.
How are you?
I'm terrific. I do like to see that film too. It'd be fantastic.
Look, but again, you've got to love Guy Ritchie.
John needs
It's a tough
someone
movie.
to go with, Josh.
I could
Yeah, can you take me?
Yeah, we'll go.
All right,
We'll
lovely.
make a good
Would you
pair.
take me gold cars? I'll buy you choc top.
All right.
Hey, you know
Share
the
your
choc
popcorn.
tops, they used to be like, just
Yes.
vanilla. Now you go, what flavour would you like? I said, what do you got? Oh, we've got boysenberry.
Oh,
We've
no,
got this,
no,
we've got
no,
that,
no.
we've got that. I've gone, all right.
Boysenberry's the best.
But they're made by Buller. They're beautiful ice creams now.
I don't eat choc tops.
Well, I don't normally, but
ride
my
a
son
bike
wanted.
and I don't eat choc.
My son was taking me, so I said, well, the least I can do is buy a choc top. But anyway, let's not worry about that. Let's worry about Josh. Josh
John?
is the job you do as founder of Household Capital. Is it kind of sexy or is it like what? What do you do, mate?
It's actually serious and important. And
Tell
I don't know
me
if that's
why-
sexy to you,
tell
John, but
me
it's
why
pretty
it's serious and important,
we're
please.
passionate about it.
Go for it.
Passion, I'm not sure is sexy, but you know what I mean.
We're in the elevator. Give me the spiel before we get to the 5th floor.
So look, a group of people came together around Household Capital to solve a big problem facing Australia, and
Which
that is
was?
how do we fund retirement? And we think we can. We think Australians can fund their own retirement, but we think we've got a new way that people can have confidence in their retirement.
A new formula.
Yeah, and it's really important. Australians are living longer than ever,
Yep.
and that's great. We should celebrate that.
Well, look at Kay.
It's not a look at you.
Well, that's more to the point. Yeah, good on you.
Touche.
Right back
That's
at me.
why Josh
Walk
is
into that
here.
Did you pre-warn him? Did
I
you?
did.
All right, fair enough.
I did.
No, but we've got to celebrate that. A lot of people say there's a grey tsunami, it's a threat and a burden. That's not right. Australians can now plan to live for 30 years in retirement, and that's fantastic.
It's a long time.
It's a long time, but we should flourish. We should help people flourish in their retirement, and people are doing great things in their retirement. But the problem for this generation of retirees, and this is where our team came together, they only got 3% super halfway through their working lives. And that's not enough to fund 30 years in retirement. So how do we help people live great lives, retire and flourish for 30 years when they started at 3% super halfway through their jobs?
How?
And the answer is, what baby boomers did in Australia is they bought their family homes
Yep.
when they got married.
Yep.
40 years ago. And those homes are now worth a lot. They've appreciated.
Sure.
And baby boomers have been very savvy to pay off their homes. And what's really important
Because that's what we did.
Most
you know?
most retirees,
You had lay-by and you paid it off before you got
And-
it. If you can't afford it, dear, don't buy it.
but also people don't want to downsize. They know that their lifestyle and the quality of their retirement is going to be best for them at home. So what we're able to do is solve two big things. How is your home the best place to live, and also a way to fund your retirement? So what we did is came together, and some really important people came around this project. Nick Sherry was a minister for superannuation, but he always knew that super wasn't the answer for baby boomers. It wasn't enough. So he saw the home as a way to help boost super. We had Peter Harris, who was the chairman of the Productivity Commission, and he'd done a big report on the housing decisions of old Australians. But he knew that in addition to housing, the house needed to be a solution for funding. So we've got a really good group of people come together with their expertise to help Australian retirees solve 30 years of life, housing and funding. And that's what Household Capital is here to do.
So the formula you came up with, what has changed? What has been the big shift for you to be able to explain this to the public? Because as we know, our retirees are very nervous. Their pool, their money is the last thing they've got, and that it makes them most nervous, and they're scared about losing it to scams or whatever. So how do you reassure them?
Some really important things, but you're absolutely right. People need to enter their retirement with confidence, and they need to take confidence forward, because only with confidence can you then flourish and have a really good lifestyle and well-being. So what's important is the banks had traditional bank reverse mortgages. They were sold through brokers. And the main problem with that whole approach was that people used up their home equity in their home through a reverse mortgage quickly. And once you spend it, you haven't got enough for 30 years of retirement.
Let's just explain what a reverse mortgage via the banks is or was.
So a reverse mortgage...
I've got a home, it's worth $1 million.
Right. And if you're 60 years old...
Yep.
and this is really important to know, ASIC provide the strongest consumer protections for reverse mortgages for any financial product in Australia.
Right.
So these are terrific consumer protections. They lead the world in consumer protections for reverse mortgages. And that's not the problem. People can have confidence in the regulation of these sorts of products. The problem with the old bank approach was they'd let people spend it in the first year or two, and then you've still got 30 years where you haven't got enough money. How a reverse mortgage works is if your home's worth $1 million, at 60, ASIC would say you could lend 20% of that. So you could lend $200,000, okay? And that's fine. You'll still have a lot of equity in your home by the time you're 90, but you'll get to use $200,000. Now, that's really important because for most people we deal with, we can double their superannuation at retirement. Most people got about $200,000 when they retire at 60, 65, and their equity in their home is another $200,000. So it's really a big contribution that we can make. The key to this is to use your home equity for the right purposes. Use it for 30 years of retirement. So make a long-term plan and use it for the right purposes. That is improving your income and your funding, renovating your home, paying for aged care, retiring debt in a bank mortgage, or helping your kids with first home buyers deposits. So doing it in the long term for the right reasons is a really good way to draw on your savings because you're saved in your home and you've got to access them. Whatever you do, don't burn through your equity in the short term.
There's a burning question here, which is to do with the fact that about 70% of Australians are on a full or part pension. So if I'm on, say, a part pension and I choose to access that $200,000 from my home, doesn't that tip me off the pension immediately?
Okay, you're red hot, and as are Australian retirees, to make sure that they can get their full pension entitlements, whether it's full or part pension. And what we're able to do, which is new and different, is not just provide long-term retirement funding for the right purposes to give people confidence in that, but to give them flexibility and choice to make sure they never lose pension, but they can access the savings in their home. And we do that in a couple of ways. Some people need more income every week, every 2 weeks, a bigger cheque than the pension would provide or that their super can draw. And we can provide that drawing down from your home. When you draw down from your home equity, it's not income because it's against your own asset. So it doesn't feature in the income test. But Australian retirees don't just need income, they often need capital. It's really hard to get a credit card when you're retired nowadays, and the bank won't give you a new home loan. So if you're retired at 65, but by the time you're 75 you need a new car, you're not going to get a bank loan for that car. So where do you get it? Now most people have to sacrifice their superannuation, and you need a car. If you're 75, you're going to have 20 years of driving. So we need to provide people with income and capital and contingency funding for things they can't foresee. And the banks aren't providing that. The banks have abandoned retirees. We've actually done a survey.
There's no money in them.
And almost 90% of Australians think that, retired Australians think that the banks have abandoned them and their needs. So we're able to provide people with access to their own savings, to provide income, capital and contingency through retirement without affecting the pension. And that flexibility and choice is really important, and you're red hot to say you should never lose the pension.
Josh, how can people find out more?
Oh, very simply. Go to our website, householdcapital.com.au, call our number on the website, talk to one of our personalised reps, and they'll take you through the options and that the flexible approach that each retiree would need to make sure that they can use their super, their pension and their home equity to fund the full length of their retirement.
And we're working with Household Capital on explainer articles, which are broadly about what is a reverse mortgage, how does it work, what are the regulations, so that people know tips and traps and what to look out for. So what to look out for these articles as we roll them out in the next few months.
And of course you'll see that on the Your Life Choices website. Please go to it, folks.
Exactly.
But most importantly, tell your friends. And we'll put Josh's website up there as well, just to be sure.
To be sure, we'll be linking and social media linking, and people can even look at how handsome Josh is.
Josh, just tell me one thing.
We're on radio, that's not credible.
Has it always been Funder, Josh Funder, or did you change that for the gig?
So the issue we've got is my name is Funder, and our head actuary and head of capital is a man called David Cash.
No way.
So it is Cash and Funder.
Why didn't you call it your business?
Well,
Cash and Funder?
you lose credibility with those sorts of names.
Right.
So think about householdcapital.com.au and head straight there, but avoid the names. They are genuine names.
Josh Funder, thank you so much. Hang about, would you?
Thank you both.